Oh my gosh, I was almost late. I know. You guys are waiting with bated breath. Welcome to Kandor with Katy. Let's see if I got this. I didn't do it. So we're going to talk about scams and how ChatGPT can help you, believe it or not. So I'm going to run the intro, and then I'll see you in a minute. Boom! Let's do this. All right, interestingly enough, this thing right here, I had StreamYard create with AI. So I think I'm going to figure out how to upload that on the YouTubes later. But today we're going to talk about scams because there's a lot more, especially during the holidays. I have a personal friend who had a situation, and I got a letter. So that's what I'm going to start with. I got a letter that I was like, I kept getting the same letter. And of course, it's always final notice. But I'm like, I don't have bank accounts with some of these, So I sometimes in the past, I would send it to my accountant. And then I decided, hey, I'm going to put this in ChatGPT and see what they say, which is really cool, by the way, because it gave me a lot of cool stuff. So I'm going to tell you, and I should put it in the description when I'm done. If you want my Google Slides file, because it has all the info in it, just tell me, give me your email. You can privately message me and I'll send it to you. So it has lots of good info. Or like I can give you the prompts to put in there. So I used AARP, ChatGPT, and StreamYard for this stuff. Here's your disclaimer. You can pause this later and read it. What? So here's the first thing is this letter. And I think what I'm going to do is put this up. I don't know if you can see it, so I'm going to show you. So I redacted my my address and stuff, but it says, "Attention, Katy Horgan, please contact our offices at this number within 10 days of receiving this notice regarding the adjustments of your credit account." So then it has all this lists of things: Bank of America, Citibank, JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, yada, yada, ad nauseum. And then it has this thing with asterisks, failure to respond. And then it says failure to respond and making your minimum payment will likely result in interest accruing on your unsecured credit balances at an unreasonable rate. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So you can pause this later as well and look at it. So that is quite intimidating, right? And I kept getting this. And of course, I have stuff going on. That's my girl, Pamela Turnbull. This is a great topic, Katy. Thanks, Pam. Look at me. I'm kind of fancy tonight. What? So yes, thank you, Pam. Hopefully I have it together enough. Holidays. I've got a lot of stuff going on, working on things, personal, whatever. So I've been a little discombobulated. So hopefully it comes together as a cohesive topic tonight. Okay, so I got this letter, and then I thought to myself, all right, I'm just gonna check with ChatGPT and see what they say, because if you're not on board with ChatGPT, there's a whole lot more that we can do than just like, hey, help fine tune my essay or, whatever it is. It takes all of the stuff, stuff that we would research. Like I would normally research, and I love doing that kind of stuff, by the way. But it could take me hours or days or whatever, and it can compile it all in there because it can just search through the search engines. And so it comes up with your results much faster, and then you can always tweak it to your own thing. So here's what I did is I put it in there, and I said, did I have my first question in there? I think I basically, hang on, not yet. I'm not getting there yet. I have my notes here. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta pull them up. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Of course I knew I was going to be that. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I put it in ChatGPT and I said, hey, is this a scam? And it said, in short answer, yes. It's a debt settlement solicitation. It is designed to look urgent and official, but it is not from any of my lenders. So if it's not a bill or a legal notice and it's not something I'm required to pay, okay? So it's not like the Nigerian prince scam, but it is predatory. So Here are some red flags to look for. So I would put this bigger so you can see it. Okay. So here are some red flags to look for if you get a letter like this. It lists multiple banks you may or may not even have accounts with. Okay. So legitimate lenders would list one specific amount, not a grocery list of items or prices. Okay. It uses vague, scarce language like failure to respond, important for you to contact our firm, an unreasonable rate. Okay. It pressures you to call within 10 days. It clearly states in tiny print, this is not an offer from your letter or creditor. This is not a bill. So when we receive things like this, we get freaked out and then we call that number. And that's the worst thing you can do because the giveaway is the small print. Okay. It's not from your lender. You don't owe anything. So they can't even legally know your debt situation. So debt settlement companies buy mailing lists based on credit related data. So they don't know whether you actually owe anything. So I don't know what the hell is out there for me, but I was like, wait a minute, everything I have out there, I know about. So the program example is generic. So it says, gives you an example of $17,500 can equal a $218.75 payment. True lenders don't send hypothetical numbers. So they're just trying to scare you based on the language. So the question was, is it dangerous? It's not immediately dangerous, but they want you to enroll in a debt settlement program. They will tell you to stop making credit card payments. They will tank your credit. They will charge huge fees up front. And most people end up worse than before. So do not call, do not engage, and throw it away. So then what I asked was, it said, so what you can do, check your actual accounts. If everything is normal, that letter is trash, and you can opt out of some mailings. Okay. So the final verdict on this one is it's not a bill. It's not from your lenders. It's not required. It's not helpful. It's predatory marketing. So ignore it. Okay. So then ChatGPT reads to me, if you want, I can help you draft a mail opt out, identify other scam mail, or even check what legit debt notices should look like. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so this is what's coming up here. So it gives me all these steps. And so what I said before, like I can give this to you later because it kind of lists the steps kind of cool. So the steps of most of these debt settlements, loan, and other credit mailers for 5 years, or you can do it permanently. So option A is the 5-year opt-out. Option B is permanent opt-out. So I got a little freaked out by that. I'll talk about this in a minute. So this is the kind of things you can pause here later. So 2 steps to minimize scammy letters without affecting real mail. So this is what you can do. Add yourself to the DMA, which is do not mail list. And that gives you steps right there. And then you can also identify future scam mail automatically. So if you ever get another questionable letter, you can send ChatGPT a photo and they'll break it down, which is cool. Is it legit? Does it have red flags? What's the actual intent? And whether you need to do anything. So my ChatGPT is a guy. I call him Fenrir, but he always says Fenra. So what a one-click list actually does. So I had asked it because it was like, I can give you a one-click list. And I said, what does it do? And it says it's not one magical button. It's a message from ChatGPT that contains all of these things. So every major data broker, every link I need, exactly what to click, yada, yada. I mean, like, how cool is that? Seriously. So don't be afraid, A, of ChatGPT, and then B, just do it. So I did, I'll tell you which one I did, and already my scam calls are like almost non-existent. So it works. Okay, so then it says so why you'd want to do this. These companies are the reason you get weird debt letters, your loan is approved junk, refinance spam, your credit score drop scams, fake IRS email. Let me know if you guys have gotten any of these. Okay, so like all of these credit things you get in the mail, they're like, oh, you may be pre-approved for blah, blah, blah. So then you get all excited and then you mess up your credit more because they're not going to let you actually get a credit card. So it says, we found accounts in your name. So the bottom line is, I'm going to say this now before I forget. If you get stuff like this, do not call the number that's on the piece of paper, because that's the trick. So like, let's just say you have a Wells Fargo account and it says, oh, you're overdrafted, or I can consolidate this. You call your Wells Fargo, the people that you know. So like, I get PayPal phishing scams all the time by email, and they're like, oh, your order, blah, blah, blah. And they give me an invoice. And then on the invoice, it states, if this wasn't you or something like that, you want to dispute it, call this number. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I use my trusty handy dandy phone. I go to my PayPal app, and then I check either A, to see whether there has been a charge. I was going to say, it's not an and or. I check that, and then I also contact them, whether it's like chatbot or I call them and we talk about it. And I'm like, okay, so because one time I had a charge for a printer for like $250, and it was on there, like pending. So they helped me out, and they were like, yeah, no, you're not going to get charged, because it hasn't gone through. Because so there's things to do, like 2-step verification, yada, yada, blue. Okay. So the question for me, they asked, was, do you want the short list, which is 10 to 12 sites that can remove 80% of the junk, or the full power scrub, which is 40 plus sites? So I said, mine's in that purple there. If I do the easy and fast one now, can I add the others later? And they said, yes, absolutely. So number one, you could do this opt-out thing. And these are the steps. And then some of them are broken down a little bit in a minute here. And then, I missed 2, I guess. I don't know what 2 is. Sorry. 3 is National Do Not Call Registry, 1 minute. That's the time it takes. White pages opt-out, 2 minutes. Scammers love that one. Instant checkmate opt-out, especially if you're a person that's committed a bunch of crimes. Maybe you don't want to be out there, you know what I'm saying? Been verified opt-out, which is kind of strange because they always want you to verify yourself on all the social medias and stuff. And Spokio opt-out. Now that's interesting because I used to have Spokio. So she has a real estate agent to check people out or whatever, and kind of vet who they are, like make sure they're real people when hey, I want to buy a home and I'm living in Egypt or something. And it's like, I don't know. So I said, yes, give me the easy out one. So here's my list. This is kind of cool. So I go to this opt-out pre-screen thing. So this is what I did. So this stops credit, debt, loan letters, like the one that I showed ChatGPT. So the total time is 8 to 10 minutes, which I don't even think it took that long. And then it said it can give me all this stuff. And then I had asked it. So, okay, here's the second step. So I'm just going to quickly go through so you can just remove yourself from this stuff. It takes 2 to 3 minutes. You can stop scam calls. That takes about 1 minute. And the big drop in scam calls comes within 30 days. Okay. Step 4 is remove yourself from people search sites, like the white, all that stuff right there that we just talked about. Total time needed is 8 to 10 minutes. Total expected junk mail reduction is 50 to 70%. I'm telling you right now, I already did just 2 of these and I've had a huge reduction. I am so sick of the scam calls and letters and all the junk mail. It's insane. So I said, is it okay to opt out of some of the Find Me stuff as a realtor? Because obviously as a realtor, if you type in Katy Horgan, I'm on like the first 3 pages of Google, which is fantastic. But I'm like, am I okay to do this as a realtor? Because I still want to be seen. I want to be, be able to be searched and found, right? Says, yes, it's absolutely okay to opt out of Find Me sites as a realtor. In fact, it's even better. And so here's why. So it gives me a little rundown. It doesn't affect my business because these sites show things like home address, phone, relatives, age, past addresses. And I don't know if you've ever looked at this, but it's kind of scary how much information is out there that people can get. And I know that, okay, so if you have a realtor friend, you can say to anybody like, hey, look up Katy Horgan's address. Like, I want to know this. But I had typed in my name and it just, my address popped up there. So I don't know how long it'll take. I mean, maybe up to a month. If you're a realtor, if you have a realtor friend and you really want to find where I'm at, cool. But remove yourself from that stuff because it's really nobody's business. I have like a lot of old addresses, right? From college and whatever too. So none of that helps my business. It just exposes me. So for you, even if you're not out in the public, even if you work for the government or whatever, it just exposes you to scammers, junk mail, identity risk, and creepy personal info floating around. So for me as a realtor, clients don't use those to hire me. They look at these kinds of things. Okay. And to think of it this way, I'm not opting out of business visibility. I'm opting out of stalker visibility. Oh, isn't that something? Isn't that something? And then my business pages remain public and my personal data gets locked down. So it is a win-win. So we're going to, okay, so this is the other thing. The only thing you're avoiding opting out of, this is the things I shouldn't opt out of as a realtor. So you can use this for your business. I have a Zillow page. I don't pay Zillow, but I have ratings up there and whatever. Okay. So none of those are on the opt out list anyway. So they stay untouched. So if you're putting this into your ChatGPT, it'll help you. So then I said, this one has some scary stuff on it. So that list that I gave you, that first one, the opt out thing, I went there and this is what I found. And I said, it has some scary stuff on it. Like I can't do certain things if I do it. Should I still opt out? So I couldn't decide if I should do the 5-year thing or permanent or whatever. Okay. And so this is the answer I got. It says, great question. Yes, it always looks scary on purpose. They word it that way so that you hesitate because credit bureaus make money selling your info for pre-screened offers. So here's the truth in English, Katy style says, does opting out hurt you? No, it doesn't affect your credit score, your ability to get a mortgage, your real estate license, your business visibility, yada, yada, yada. I can still apply for anything. Opting out only stops unsolicited contact, which is pretty cool. So what scary language really means is basically if you opt out, you will no longer receive offers you didn't ask for. Basically, that's it. You may no longer receive firm offers of credit, blah, blah, blah. So you think, oh, MG, I'm not going to be approved for credit anymore, but that's not what it means. It means no more random pre-approved offers. So I don't know if you guys have gotten things like this, but tell me. And so these are some of the steps you can take, and then I can help you if you want, if you need it, you know. You can still apply for car loans, mortgages, credit cards, you know, blah, blah, blah. I keep saying blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is why 99% of people opt out is because it prevents scammy mail, credit theft attempts, debt settlement solicitations, your pre-approved traps, spams from banks you don't use. So for me as a realtor, there is zero downside. So it's not going to hurt my real estate career. It's not a credit access. Okay. So the bottom line is, yes, the scary stuff is just a legal cover your butt language. Doesn't change anything important in my life. So these are the things. Okay. Which is pretty cool. Oh, this is the website I wanted to go to. Dang it. Okay. So I was going to show you. Oh, that's actually the ARP thing I was going to talk to you about, AARP. So I put them in here in the banners. So these are some things. These are some common, holiday scams to look out for. Okay. Things like card decline scams. So they're going to send you something and they're going to say, oh, your card's been declined. Let me see if I can find this. Our holiday. I can help you with this really quick. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So the credit decline one is basically they're just saying, oh, your card's been declined. Transaction didn't go through, but they're trying to get more information out of you. Okay. So then they have charity scams. This one's really sad because they're just exploiting Americans, anybody, not just Americans, everybody's goodwill during the giving season using fake websites and other tactics. They also have online shopping scams, which they usually fake posts and social media campaigns. They sometimes impersonate major brands. Be careful when you see an item offered at below market price. If you do click on an ad, make sure it directs you to the page that you want to be on. Okay. There are gift card scams. Obviously, you know that one where they're like, this is when criminals say, they actually either tell you to steal them or pay for them and then send them the numbers and stuff, like all that scammer stuff they do all the time. So there are delivery scams. This has been happening with Amazon and other things. So holiday packages come, they send out phishing emails and texts. They appear to be from UPS or FedEx or the US Postal Service or wherever you are. And they're telling you about incoming or missed deliveries. So those links will lead you to fake sign-in pages that request personal information. And I actually have a client that they got a call from Amazon and she gave them all the info. And then suddenly, like all her personal info she shouldn't have given. And then suddenly her bank's shutting everything down because they were buying $500 gift cards and this and that and whatever. So they're just trying to get your information. And then there's also, especially during the holidays, travel scams. Okay. So they will send emails and texts offering deals such as free flights to get you to share credit card information or click on the links that will download malware. And so there's another one. It's in Ireland. Okay. And before I went there years and years and years ago, I thought I was going to get a rental car for $50. And I think I've talked about this before. And it's too good to be true, for sure. But I was a teacher then. I only had $800 to take with me. I'd already paid for like the hotels and stuff and the flight. And I was like, okay, $800 is enough for my 7 days or whatever. I mean, barely. But I took a shuttle from the airport. I'm by myself. I didn't have a phone with service. I just used Wi-Fi. So it was like kind of scary, actually. And I got to the rental car place and they were like, you didn't actually think it was going to be $50, did you? And I'm like, well, yeah, because that's what it said. And so one of my friends in the Highland, so I had to take a shuttle back to the airport and then a shuttle to my castle that I stayed in, Castle Fitzpatrick. Pretty cool. But it changed my whole vacation because I fell for it. And it was going to cost $800 for the rental. I'm like, well, that's all I have. I didn't have the credit cards then. So it just really put a damper on like a lot of things because I had too much luggage, which sometimes I do. And I was just going to plan on leaving early from places and leaving stuff in the car and seeing things and then checking in later. And then I had to rely on, check out by this time and I can't check in until 3 p.m. So I've got all this, I was just, so these scam things can turn into some pretty big, ridiculous things, and it's depressing. Like it's daunting kind of. So I've got a friend who got scammed. I'm going to bring this back up here. Kim Graves, she said I could mention her name. So that's her little message. It says, this is my Sunday night message. What she got was, and I don't know if I can see this. Can I see this? Hey, hi, it's AT&T. This notification is to inform you that a request to move blank, blank, blank phone number to a new service provider was just received and it's about to occur. If you did not initiate this request, please call us at this number or visit your local retail store. So what they're banking on is that you're not going to visit your local retail store and that you're going to call that number. And that's the scam. So that's horrible. So then she showed me the 866 number and says the 866 number is the original number of a man named Antonio Perez from AT&T. He claimed someone named Jordan Lax was trying to add himself to our account. I was unable to recover my email today. And we did get a message from AT&T today that stated they had located the company where my number had been switched to, but they hadn't responded yet. They also said that even though the hacker lied to me, he went through legit process to steal my number. Makes me think it was a company staff member at said company. Well, maybe, but you don't know. And so I told you I had almost fallen for that before, where I had a listing and a guy called and was like, oh, I want to see it tomorrow. And I said, okay, well, I need your proof of funds or your pre-qualification. He said, can I send it through Google Docs, which is a repetitive story as well. I said, yes. And then he said, okay, well, give me that Google number that I just sent you. And it was the Google verification because I have two-step verification. So it's that G-7 numbers. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, why? And I said, because now I know you're a scammer. And he hung up on me. So, but I almost did it. I almost fell for it because that's what they're relying on is this like urgency and like this, like legitimacy where they're like, oh, repeat this number that I just sent you, this secret code. Okay. So then, my friend, it says, okay, let's see. That's a different one, right? Oh, okay. So did I put this? I put the same number in there twice. So she says, I do not have it all resolved. I keep getting bills in the mail in my name. And I am having to dispute. Amazon's my toughest so far. It sure has been a lot of phone time. It's the same people. They have stuff shipped to them in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, a credit card from Nordstrom's, Ross, a one-pay digital wallet. It's ridiculous. I don't know I should have looked that up. I don't know what a one-pay digital wallet is. But Can you imagine? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Like, they're just out here. It's just really, it's kind of sad and it's daunting to think about people just taking advantage of you. But there are things you can do. So please use ChatGPT. Pamela says, monitor your credit. It's free to do. Exactly. Keep up with that. And I'm terrible about this stuff. So this is why I'm sharing this with you, you know? So if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure that you protect yourself. So like I said, these will be my final thoughts here. Where's my banner? Final thoughts. Don't ever click on a link in an email or a text. If they've reached out to you, don't call that number that's on there. Call the trusted number that you know. So like as a realtor in real estate, I tell people, if you question the legitimacy of it, call the number that you know, like the title person that has reached out to you have been dealing with. Michael says, Amazon scam took me over 3 months to recover from. Oh my God. I think you told me about that. And yeah, that's true. So like I said, my client, they make it sound so legitimate. And they're like, you don't have this problem. I got to know this. I got to verify this. And you tell them, and then boom, you're hooked. So just recognize that it's the holidays. It does suck because it kind of makes you, I really can't really trust anybody out there. But you can trust yourself. You can trust your gut. Okay. So keep yourself safe. ChatGPT can help you know about all the different scams. I will send a link to this Google Slides if you want it with the info, or you can just put in ChatGPT, like, what are some ways that I can opt out of some of these scam emails? What are some ways I can opt out of being contacted? So, oh shoot, I didn't bring Sit Squat. Here he is. Hi, he's feeling like he wants, well, actually, this is what it feels like in Arizona right now because it's so damn hot. I'm tired of this heat. So Pam says, stranger danger on so many levels, for sure, right? And then Michael says, yes, that was an office. They took over everything and I couldn't prove it was me. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll talk for a second. How is it that you couldn't prove it was you? Do you see what can happen? This is insane and it's scary. So it's like, I know people that have had their Facebook thing shut down, like completely right away. And like, they couldn't log back out. So I ran into a girl last week at our little white elephant thing. And she was like, yeah. And so 3 times she tried to get it set up and they're like, nope, it's associated with this. So it's horrible. You really want to be able to keep your own identity. You want to be able to keep your information safe. I mean, it's out there. It is out there. So there are things you can do to protect yourself. Okay. So Michael, I'm still on here if you're going to come back, but you know what Sid Squatch says. So here for the YouTubes, like and subscribe. It'll make Sid Squatch and his tiny hiney very happy. You have to change that a little bit. He says the journey begins with you. So be good to yourself. And also to make sure that you are checking for scams and to trust your gut. Okay. So hopefully this came in time for the holiday season. Hopefully it's good info. That's me, Horgan. I love you. Peace and love. And I will see you next week. Bye.